So, what did you think of Churchill during the war?
Well, I only ever saw him twice. Um, he came, and the King came a couple of twice, and I was amazed at Churchill how little he was. He was only a little man, and I think he didn't seem to walk very well. So I didn't really see much about him. But I actually met Eisenhower, believe it or not. Uh,
Really?
I, I, he spoke to me and smiled at me when I met him quite accidentally. Uh, I can go into that if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, you see, when we got that additional flight and we got these extra dispersals, it was all the land had been farmland, and it was all boggy. You know, it wasn't grassed properly. And one of these aircraft, it had been repaired, and they'd flown it to the test fly in the morning. And coming back, the silly pilot had tried to turn it round on the dispersal, and he got one wheel off the concrete and into the mud. Now I went to swing the compasses with the tractor and equipment, and we hadn't much time. And there was this Lancaster with one wheel in the mud, so we had to get it out. So I went back in the tractor to get the. You see, normally we towed it from the rear wheel, but we had wires so we could pull it forwards. You see, so I went back and got the wire and attached it to the back of this big Davy Brown tractor. We towed it back and we put canvas in and all kinds of stuff to try to stop the wheel being cut by the concrete. You know, it was quite sharp. And we did that, but the the concrete was so slippy that the tractor couldn't pull it. You see, so that meant I had to use the winch. So there was actually only four of us there, which wasn't really enough. Somebody had to help me. Two people had to go on one wheel, and somebody had to go up and work the brakes. So we weren't really equipped properly. Only four of us. But I went to the other side of the dispersal and wound out the steel wire hauser from the winch. You see, which you had a device that dug in the back. You see, so all this long length of wire went across the runway there. So I attached it, and before we could get anything, we saw two staff cars coming, and there was us with this wire across the road. You see, so these two staff cars stopped, and the squadron CO Les Tate got out. He knew me quite well, and he said, "Darwin, what are you up to?" And I showed him what had happened. I said, "There aren't really enough of us." So he says, "Righto," he said, "I'll help." Now, there was, what was he, a very high-ranking bloke there with him, and Les Tate, who was a wing commander. So Les got up in the pilot's seat, and this other bloke came, and I showed him what to do. And then there were two Americans came, and one of these Americans, half his chest was covered in coloured. How many medals he had, I don't know. But he came and watched proceedings, you see. And eventually we got this Lancaster out with this system, you see. And I dropped this hauser out so they could come. And I walked over, and these two Americans, one bloke said something to me, I couldn't see what it said, and smiled at me and kind of congratulated me. And then they went away. And then this Aussie corporal said, "Hey, Darwin, that was Eisenhower." There was Eisenhower. We were, you know, there he was. Now I couldn't see Churchill or any of the others behaving like that, and that was how I met Eisenhower.
Was he quite friendly?
Well, he smiled at me and said something which I couldn't quite follow. Yeah, he seemed to be. He was laughing at us. And Les Tate said afterwards he congratulated me on it.
What do you think Eisenhower was a good general?
Well, I don't know really. He was a nice bloke.
What about Churchill? Do you think he was a good
Well,
leader?
well, I presume so. But I had no contact with him at all. But he was there as at the time. He was no good as a peacetime man at all.